Okay, we're recording.
Good deal.
All right, guys, this is Chris here with Team Magikarp, and today we're going to interview Kyle. Kyle ended up winning the league challenge up in Louisville, defeated me, er, but no, he had some. He had the deck to do it. He had the text to do it, and I think pretty much that was his tournament to win, and he done it. So um, I've showed you guys the deck list already, but we'll go ahead and let Kyle go over some of the choices that he made in this deck. It's not your typical meta list, as we've seen. So, Kyle, we'll let you go ahead and explain how you came up with this.
Well, I didn't really come up with it. Jacob Hope came up with it back during cities. He won a couple cities down in Tennessee with it. Did really good with it. And I was playing a different metal list, and I just ended up kind of taking it and running with it. We bounced a lot of ideas off of each other, and I call it Hope.deck. Most people call it Bro 2 because it's a Bronzong Mewtwo, but made a few changes with some of the new cards that came out. I'll just go through my list. Two Shaman EX. Shaman's just he's so good. Uh,
Absolutely.
be, being able to draw cards without having to play your supporter. That draw is just it needs to be in every deck almost.
Yep.
Decks with Garbodor you can run less, you can get by with less, but he's so good. I played one Aegislash EX. I still think it's a great attacker. He's really good against decks that run a lot of special energy, assuming they don't run Garbodor. My nemesis. But other than that, he does really good. The Fairy, love the Fairy matchup because of him. They mostly attack with special energy, or if they don't use special energy, they're weak to Aegislash already. So
Absolutely.
he's really good in that matchup. I went with a 4-3 line of Bronzong. That's what I had built previously. I haven't played since the last league challenge a few weeks ago, and I hadn't put my deck together, and I just didn't have the fourth Bronzong with me, so it made that decision for me. Normally, I would play a Sacred Ash, but interestingly enough, at this league challenge, I didn't realize I had taken my deck apart, and I left all my supporters at home. So I got to Louisville, which is about an hour and a half away from me, and realized that I didn't have any supporters. So I was just throwing the deck together as fast as I could, and I missed out on the Sacred Ash. Like I just didn't think to put it in there, even though normally I would always run a Sacred Ash in this deck, especially with just three Bronzongs. It ended up not hurting me, but it could have. The next card I played is your favorite card in the format. It's a Cobalion, the baby Cobalion, with Energy Press and Iron Breaker. Um, I debated a lot between Baby Cobalion and Heatran, but I don't run any stadiums, so I felt like Heatran wasn't as good as he could be because that extra 40 damage on his first attack, it's really good, but you can't always guarantee the stadium's going to be out. Plus, I felt like there was going to be a lot of Toad. And because I felt like there was going to be a lot of Toad, I decided that the Baby Cobain was the way to go. Because he's a lot like Dialga EX, which I also played one of, and that he can shut off Seismitoad's ability to attack. Um, but the difference is with the Muscle Band, he's hitting for 100. So he's two-shotting, which Dialga can do. Dialga EX can two-shot, but you have to discard those energy. And if you're playing against a Garbodor deck, you're not going to be able to rush in to get those energy back on it. That's why I really like the Cobain, because he can two-shot and lock you out from attacking. You like that card, don't you?
It's it was really amazing in that matchup. I mean, I have no answers for it outside of attacking with the Garbodor, which wasn't going to happen. So,
Yeah. It's a really good card. It can do a lot of damage with Energy Press if you have to use Energy Press. Depending on the deck you're playing against, only gives up one prize. It really helps you set up if you can get it out early. I like it a lot. I like the more I play it, and I go back and forth. You'll see me playing this list a lot or this deck a lot. I'll go back and forth between Heatran and Cobalion. But I think now that it's finally going to rotate and I can't use it anymore, I've decided Cobalion was the best thing for this deck.
how many games did that come up clutch for you? I know it was good against me and both Josh.
Yeah, it was good against Josh, who I played in the first round because he was playing Seismitoad Garbodor. It, really, it's only in there for the Seismitoad matchup, so that's the only matchup I used it. In my third round, when I played Jared, I was able to use it to kind of stall because I was having a slow time setting up.
Mm,
And if you're gonna go Mewtwo heavy, you don't care to give up that one prize early because they're still going to have to take 6 prizes against your Mewtwo's. So I was able to kind of stall with it and not really do anything other than let it get knocked out, which it actually didn't get knocked out, but that was the idea when I promoted it. So it didn't really do a lot outside of the Seismitoad matchups, but it earned its keep against Seismitoad.
Oh, no doubt.
I played one Dialga EX just because the Virizion Genesect matchup is so good. If you can get a Dialga EX with a Muscle Band, it's almost impossible to lose if you get that out early enough because you one shot the Virizions and the Genesects. Um, and there's nothing they can't keep up with you. They can't keep energy on the field to keep up with you. So the main attacker for my deck though was Mewtwo EX.
Mm-hmm.
I played three of those. He's just so good, and I think people forget how good he is because when he first came out, there was the Mewtwo Wars. Everybody knew you play a Mewtwo down, you're going to get it knocked out by your opponent's Mewtwo. But for one energy attachment, he can start putting so much pressure on early game that he's just really, really good. And I think people underestimate him. You can be really fast. You can just start hitting them in the face, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I really, that's he's the main attacker of the deck. He's what I use to do the most damage, and he's one of the best cards in the format. Which maybe he's getting reprinted. We don't know. Hopefully, because we'll keep using him if he is.
Well, we got Lugia, so
Yeah, Lugia's. I've been testing some lists, the metal list with Lugia, and I actually really like Lugia. So I played one Keldeo EX, Rush in Retreat. You got to be able to get the metal links onto your Pokemon. So Keldeo's key for that. I decided to take in one Seismitoad EX for this event, which I haven't done before. I know I've seen a lot of metal players who've done well with metal play a Seismitoad EX.
mm-hmm.
I decided to play one because I thought there would be a lot of Toad, and I thought it would be beneficial to be able to lock them out of hammers while I get set up. I did not play Seismitoad EX down one time this entire tournament. There was one game, it was a game against you, where I wanted to play it down. I had a Muscle Band and a Double Colorless Energy, and I went to play it down, and I realized I had 5 Pokemon on my bench. So it didn't work out that game either. Um,
I don't think you needed it in the
well,
end.
no, it ended up not mattering, but that's the only time I really felt like I wanted um, to use it. As far as my trainers go, I played 2 Battle Compressors, which that's a number that's fluctuated since Cities. I mean, I started playing Metal as soon as Bronzong came out. It's what I've been playing almost exclusively. I had one tournament I did well with Kyogre, but I've been playing Metal pretty much all season. Um, and the Battle Compressor number is what changes the most. But I think 2 is the right number because once you get the Metal Energy in the discard pile, you don't need them anymore. If you hit them early, that's great. If you don't, you're probably getting Metal in there with Ultra Ball anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 2 is the right number. I play Computer Search. It's the best ace spec for this deck. Just because you're setting up, it's helpful to set up. I went with 3 Trainers Mail. I had 4 in there, but I cut down to 3. That's the first thing I cut when I'm trying to fit in some different techs. It's just a good. I just really like the card. It can get you supporter if you don't have one. It can get you that Ultra Ball if you don't, if you need that. I don't know how many times I've been searching for that Float Stone and gotten it off of a Trainer's Mail. It's very clutch.
Mm-hmm.
4 Ultra Ball, that's a given. 4 Verse Seekers, that's pretty much standard in anything I build now. Is 4 Ultra Ball and 4 Verse Seekers. I played 1 Chorus. I would have liked to play 2, but as I said earlier, I could only get a hold of 1, and I left all my supporters at home, an hour and a half away. So only one I was only able to find 1, so that's all I played. 2 Lysander because you never know when you're going to need to bring something up to. Shaman is a good target. Everybody's playing Shaman. It's a great card to play, but you always want to take 2 prizes as easy as you can. 3 ends because that's all I could find. Normally I would play 4 ends. I played 4 Professor Sycamore. To replace the N and the chorus that I couldn't find, I played 2 Professor Birch's Observations. I think I played it twice during the whole tournament, and I got heads both times. So if I keep flipping heads on it, it's worth having.
I'd like to flip heads more often.
It's the only coin flip card I played, though, and I only played it by necessity. So I played 1 Xerosic. The Xerosic was for Toad Garbodor, basically, because it's important to be able to get that float stone off of a Garbodor so that you can have your abilities back for one turn,
Mm.
because sometimes that one turn it changes the game for you. Because when you're playing Toad Garbodor, they get set up and they have you where they want you. But if you can get one turn off, a lot of times you can lock them out of item locking you next turn.
Hmm.
Whether it be a Chrono Wind, an Iron Breaker, or just a knockout, and they don't have any more DCE. So that Xerosic is clutch. It came into play 3 times in 3 different games actually. Came into play against both the Toad Garbodors that I played, and also against the Virizion Genesect deck I played. It played Headringer, and there was a Headringer on my Mewtwo on turn 1, but I was able to knock that off with the Xerosic, so that was nice to have.
Yeah, the Zoroark was pretty clutch against me. You knocked off the float stone. I'd
Yep.
poisoned your Cobalion, but you'd already hit me to where I couldn't attack anyway. And then when you took that off, you retreated and came back up for the knockout, and I think that pretty much sealed the game away right there.
Yeah, he was clutch. I was really lucky in both the games against Toad Garbodor. I had the Xerosic in my hand pretty much right when I needed it, or even the turn before I needed it. So I was able to hold on to it until I needed to use it. That was luck. I played 3 Floatstone. I like to play 4 Floatstone. Um, I only played 3. It goes back and forth from 3 to 4. I feel more comfortable with 4, but 4 is sometimes overdoing it.
Hmm.
But because just getting that Floatstone on Keldeo is great, but also if your Keldeo's prized, being able to get Floatstones on all your Bronzongs is really nice too. So 3 Muscle Band because more damage. Hit them in the face.
Absolutely.
4 Double Colorless and then 6 Metal, and that was my deck, and that's some of the reasons why I chose the cards that I did. If I could change anything, I probably would drop the Seismitoad. I didn't use it. Put the Kecleon back in there. I had a Kecleon for the Mega Rayquaza matchup, which I got lucky and didn't run into because well I did in one round, but he never got a Rayquaza out, so it was okay. But that was a scary matchup that I was afraid of, and I took the Kecleon out and kind of regretted it. And then probably find some way to get a Sacred Ash in there. That's the 2 things I would change for sure.
So the next league challenge that's coming up should be after rotation. Uh, how do you see this deck playing out after rotation?
I'm still probably going to try and play it because I love it so much. Um, I'll have to switch over to Heatran from Cobalion because he's going to rotate. Mewtwo's going to rotate, but we have Lugia EX that kind of does the same thing. Put a lot of pressure on early. Um, there's no, there'll be no Kecleon. Kecleon will rotate, which I normally have in my deck. I didn't have in this particular one, but I like the Faded Town Stadium.
Hmm.
I think it's really good against the Megas. So I might try and fit that in there. And also Lugia. A lot of people forget about Lugia's second attack.
Oh
Lugia
yeah.
can do 150 with the Stadium in play, 20 more if there's a Muscle Band in play, and then if Faded Town has been out and it's a Mega, hopefully there's enough damage on there to knock them out. I haven't really tested it yet, but drop the Keldeo and the 3 Floatstones for 4 switches. Um, Lugia can retreat for 2 energy, so that's not terrible if you have to just do a manual retreat. I don't know if it's going to be as strong, but I like it enough that I'm going to try and make it work.
Do you think your medal count will have to go up without Keldeo being in the format?
Yeah, probably more metals. Maybe I don't know. Like the 10 energy is good, but having to manually attach to retreat or having to have attachments to retreat probably is going to require maybe go up to 8. I don't really know what I would drop. Another thing is heavy balls coming back. I think I saw heavy balls coming back, and there's a new Bronzor, a Bronzong actually. So if the Bronzor, like the old Next Destiny's Bronzor had a 3 retreat. So if the new Bronzor has a 3 retreat and you can play with heavy ball, having heavy ball and level ball and ultra ball can really make it really boost your consistency.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Um, let's see. I think we might have had a few questions. Looks like most of them you answered already. Jamie was wanting to know about the Kecleon for sure.
yeah, I talked to him before the tournament, and I was like, I didn't know you all were going to be here. If I'd thought about it, I would have left the Kecleon in because I know he plays Mega Rayquaza. Like, I know he plays it. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't think anybody would be playing it. And then I told him, I was like, I'm kind of mad I took it out. I got really lucky though and didn't play him. I did play Jeff in the second round, Jeff Surin, and he was playing the metal Mega Rayquaza build. He had a pretty slow start, wasn't able to get a Rayquaza out. I was able to get enough pressure on and kind of roll, so it ended up not hurting me. But I was kind of regretting when I saw Jamie. I was really regretting not having the Kecleon on.
DJ was wanting to know where it's a local tournament. You know most of the players. Was there a player in particular you was hoping just to avoid that tournament?
Not necessarily. I know pretty much everybody that's playing there. I knew the last league challenge I went to, Josh Sutherland, who got third place, he won. My friend Brick, he got second. So I kind of knew that they would probably be playing similar decks. And I knew that I wasn't prepared for Toad Garbodor last time, so I did put the Xerosic in, and I did switch to the Cobalion specifically because I thought I might have to play a Toad Garbodor deck. Um, but it wasn't that I didn't want to play it. Um, I don't like playing against Toad Garbodor because it's so good, but um, I had tech for it, so I was pretty comfortable. I felt like I had a chance at least, whereas last time I didn't really have that chance.
Yeah. Do you? Would you say Toad is probably your hardest matchup with this deck, or?
Well, Flareon's probably my hardest matchup with this deck, but there was not a lot. That well, ever since Trump card rotated, Flareon's not really that difficult. No, the hardest matchup with this build particularly would have been Mega Rayquaza because there's no answer for it.
Yeah, it just hits too hard, too fast.
Yeah. There was a Hippowdon deck there. I've never tested against Hippowdon, so I don't know how I would have done against it.
I
I
was
feel like
actually worried about that one myself because I didn't know what I was going to do.
I felt like I would have been okay because he played a lot. I noticed he played a lot of special energy,
Mm,
so I could have just stalled with Aegislash until I hit my Sanders and my VS Seekers and did enough damage to win. But at the same time, I didn't know. Actually, the deck Brick was playing scared me a lot. I'm glad I didn't play it. It was a Trevenant EX Bats deck.
mm,
So he just does the one energy attach, and I can't retreat. And he plays a bunch of Lysandre. So if I play the Keldeo down, he's going to Lysandre up the Keldeo and hold it. And I don't play any switch. So that deck scared me. We were actually testing it before the tournament started, and we were really close in prizes. It was getting close to the end of the game, and the tournament started, so we didn't finish. So I don't know if I would have won or not, but
yeah.
that deck really scared me.
Yeah, it was a pretty unique deck. I watched him play it a couple of times.
Yeah, and Groudon is tough. Primal Groudon. I didn't see any Primal Groudon, but that's a really tough deck, as well as Landorus Bats because Landorus can do 30 to the bench. So your Bronzors are just sitting ducks. If you don't get the Bronzors out on turn one and don't get them into Bronzongs on turn two, they're pretty much not going to survive long enough to make any kind of difference in the game. So those are probably my toughest matchups.
All right, last question, and it's from Taylor. So he wants to know, why are you crap?
Why am I crap? Well, probably because I don't realize that Absol's about to die from poison. And he'll know what that means. So.
Yeah, he used a different word, but since we're kid friendly, I changed it up. But it was a great tournament. I enjoyed playing against you. It was a really good match, even though I lost. I liked those matches. I had to do a lot of thinking and stuff, and uh, honestly, other than trying to grenade hammer him with the Lysander off the bench, I think that was my only out against that card.
Well, I was going to tell you too. Um, I remember that play specifically where you were trying to grenade hammer me, and I had locked you out with the Cobayanis. I was actually okay. I was almost okay with you grenade hammering because that means I got items back regardless.
Yeah,
I heard grenade hammer and I was like, oh, I get items back, and I was like, oh wait, no, you can't attack at all, so I do get items back. But
yeah, no doubt.
yeah,
And
but
then
it was fun. Had a good time. I wasn't happy that I had to play two Toad Garbodors, but both the players who were playing Toad Garbodor I like, so it ended up being okay. I had a lot of close matches. Your match, um, the match before that when I played Jared, that was probably my closest matchup of the day. I kind of made a big comeback against him, and then against Josh, that was a really close match too. But I played Jeffrey and Lewis, and they both did really good. Both played tough matches. It wasn't easy, especially considering half my deck was in Nicholasville, and I had to throw together something. Uh, and it wasn't perfect. Though. That's another thing. Like the deck that I built, when I'm looking at it now, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Well, it's because I had to, or because I forgot something. But it was fun, and sometimes you get lucky in Pokemon, and sometimes you play Chris who can't flip heads against you for some reason.
No, no, I need to just quit playing those. I beat you when I don't play flip cards. So
Yeah, yeah. You played Groudon at Kentucky State's, and you rolled me pretty hardcore.
it's actually
Uh,
Don Fan with
oh, it was
Groudon. Yeah,
Donphan. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, you wrecked me with Donphan,
yeah,
but when you play flip cards, it seems to go my way.
yeah. I need to quit that. I've been playing that stupid Shifty deck online, and I believe probably at least 4 out of every 5 flips is tails for me. So I'm just gonna put it up.
Yeah, I really do hate flip cards. I try to play as few as possible. You'll notice the birches, but that's just because I needed some kind of supporter to play. But because it never fails. Usually, when my opponent will flip heads every time, and I'll flip tails every time. But I know I can count on when I'm playing Chris Morgan that he's going to flip tails whenever he needs it. So
No doubt, I got tails on when I caught it on the start of the game, and tails all the way through the game. So
I think you did get heads one time on a laser,
it was on laser, and then
and I
you.
stayed asleep, but I had the Xerosic, and I was able to rush in and retreat.
Yep, that was my only heads that game, and it still didn't work. Well, buddy, it's been good talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you in about a month at another league challenge, and no
Look
flip
forward to it.
cards for me.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Peace out.